Have you ever received an offer on a property that was downright offensive? I'm talking about an offer that you got that you're like, this guy is smoking something. There's no way I'm going to go for this. He can go pack sand. Well, that's what we're going to look at today. We're talking about disrespectful offers. Welcome to my daily housing crash update. I do this every weekday morning, and I'm hoping to give you a glimpse into what's going on in the housing market, certainly tracking any type of housing market crash. But today, it's all about disrespectful offers. That's right, offers that offend the seller. And so we're going to briefly cover how I make disrespectful offers and hopefully gives you some tools you can use to make offers yourself like this. I also want to know from you, what techniques do you use and what ideas do you implement to make disrespectful offers? All right, so here's my first tip. Do research. You got to research the property. You got to research the seller. Is the property behind in tax payments? You know, are the property taxes behind? If they're behind and behind substantially, that could be a sign of some distress, and that may give you a clue that that person needs to sell and sell fast. The other thing you should look at is the days on market. How long has the property been on market? Not just now, but in the past. How long has it actually been, advertised for sale? I would also Google the address. Just simply Googling the address and going deep into Google can sometimes give you clues about the property's history, and that can obviously give you a leg up when you're making an offer. So that's my first thing. Do some research on the seller, do some research on the property, and understand what you're dealing with. You should also understand what the seller wants. Sometimes the seller doesn't necessarily need top dollar for the property. Sometimes they need something else, like a quick close, no inspection. Sometimes they need a long time to live in the property. Maybe they need to sell their property and find a new one, and that gives you an opportunity to maybe give them something in the deal that isn't just about price. So that's number one, do some research. Number two, structure your deal and give options. So give the seller some options when you make the offer. Don't just give them, one price and say, here's my price. It's super low. Take it or leave it. I mean, you can certainly do that. There's no crime against it. However, I always like to give sellers options. For instance, if I'm looking at a duplex to buy as an investment property, what I'll do a lot of times is give somebody a cash offer that may be low, really low. So if the property's listed at 200 grand, maybe I offer 105 grand and say, I'll close in 2 weeks. I'll give you 105 grand in cash. Or I have another option for you, and that is I'll give you 180 grand for the property, which is really close to your asking price. However, I'm going to need you, Mr. Seller, to carry the financing. So I'll give you 5 grand down, 10 grand down, whatever makes sense for my budget, right? As the buyer, I'm trying to structure a deal to make sense for me first and foremost. And I'll give you that money down, the 5 or 10% down, and then I'll turn around and give you a monthly payment that makes sense for a period of time, whatever the term makes sense for you and your deal, right? So I'm giving them options. I'm not just saying, hey, here's my price, take it or leave it, hope you take it. Nope, I'm saying here are some options for you that could make sense. You could even build a third option in there. Like, okay, my third option is maybe I'll give you $130,000, but I'm going to use a loan from a bank and they're going to have an inspection. So all types of different situations there on how you can structure a deal. The point is I'm giving this seller some options. I'm not just giving them a lowball offer that only has one option in it. I'm giving them multiple options. All right, so that's number two. Give some options in your deal. Number three, don't get greedy and don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to walk away from the transaction if the seller won't counter. In other words, if you make an offer that is offensive or disrespectful, don't worry about it. If they happen to come back and say, you know what, you are completely crazy, go pack sand, I'm not even going to counter. Be willing up front, have it in your head and in your plan that if I don't get a counter or if the seller is offended and walks away, so what? I can always make another offer down the road. There's no law against that, by the way. And a little known fact is, a lot of people don't know this, if most states, at least in Ohio here, if you make an offer with a realtor, if you make an offer through a realtor, that realtor is obligated to show the buyer to show the seller and present that offer to the seller. They can't hide it and say that offer's crazy. I'm not even going to give it to the seller. No, they have to give it to the seller and present it. And a lot of times you can ask for proof that they actually reviewed it, and they can sign saying, I've reviewed this offer, I decline. So the point there is that don't be afraid to come back to the well and make another offer in the future if that property hasn't moved yet. A lot of sellers are too ashamed, or maybe have too much pride, to come back and hit you up again if the property doesn't sell in 60 days longer and say, hey, that offer you gave me, I was kind of offended, but now it makes sense because I don't have anything else on the table. Well, there's nothing wrong with you as the buyer coming back to the well and following up and saying, here's another offer for you. I'm still interested. Nothing wrong with that at all. Follow up is a big part of number 3, and that is don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to make a second offer, a third offer, a fourth offer if you have to. So those are my 3 tips, but I'm curious what you do to make lowball offers, or if you have any ideas, strategies that could help other people make lowball offers and be successful. This housing market right now, it's time to make those type of offers because we don't know how long it's going to last, right? We don't know if interest rates will go down further, and we don't know if prices will continue to go up. Not sure, but houses are definitely sitting longer. A lot of buyers are on the sidelines, so it's a great time to make disrespectful offers. All right, go make one today. We'll see you again.